Hello everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Mindful Wanderer Journeys Within. So I'm sure those of you who are looking at me right now are probably going, what the heck? So this is one of my favorite Halloween wigs to wear. And I've got the color scheme going on in here. And this wig is like my go-to. It'll go with any kind of costume. One year I dressed up as a pumpkin. One year I just was whatever I wanted to call myself. And I just love it. Halloween was always such a great time for me. I loved trick-or-treating, and then as an adult I loved dressing up and handing out candy and gift bags and everything to the kids, and I was able to do that for a lot of years. And it's such a fun time to be able to dress up in so many different ways, isn't it? I mean, like with this, I can put it in front of me, I can, layer it around, and look, I got different colors and everything. I can flip it. I can do all kinds of things. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to dress up. It's fun for like 1 or 2 days out of the year to be somebody that we're not and just pretend that we're being something. And it's okay because it's a holiday, and it's, and not everybody may choose to do it, but that's okay too. I mean, this is about signifying about how during 1 or 2 years that some people may decide to, they may want to decide to dress up, and it's okay because for Halloween, like, you're supposed to dress up and everything. But what happens when we dress up emotionally? When we put on a mask or we cover ourselves up because we don't want anybody to see the real us? We prefer that if we wear a wig or a mask or something, that we're able to be somebody. It'll give us permission to be somebody that we're really not. And when I was thinking about a topic to do around this time, I was thinking about, when I go in stores and I see the rubber masks and the box masks and like the crazy wigs and all kinds of things. Like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, especially for kids and everything. But when you're an adult, and even when you are younger, what about those masks that we put on ourselves because we're afraid to be who we really are? And it could be any number of reasons why we feel we need to put on a different kind of a costume on ourselves. For example, I'm an introvert at heart. I truly am. I learned to become comfortable with solitude when I was a little kid. I was born with childhood asthma. Unfortunately, at 3 years old, nobody knew that I had it until I almost died. I literally had a 50-50 chance of survival. And thank God that the pediatrician who was on call that evening was the best in his field, and he literally saved my life. Well, God used him to save my life. But unfortunately, I was destined to have a condition that would land me in the hospital several times throughout my childhood. And I had to be in oxygen tents. I couldn't watch TV because back then the sparks could have set off something with the oxygen tents. Like, literally, I was scared I was going to go kaboom. And I also would have to it was very isolating to have a condition like asthma, because back then in the 70s, they didn't know a lot about it. I was often told by people in school that I was making it up for attention. Like, okay, not being able to breathe, like that's really, like, I'm using that for attention? I don't think so. I mean, that was not one mask I put on. But I became very comfortable with solitude. And I learned to be okay with solitude. It actually was my saving grace. And I read, I colored, I, started to write. Nancy Drew was one of my reading buddies, and that inspired me to want to start writing stories. So it just was like a way of, like, I was okay with being alone. It was normal for me. So when I was in school, whenever I had to be in groups and everything, I mean, I was like, I wanted to be myself. I was okay being an introvert. But in school, it was like, no, you got to participate more. No, you're a daydreamer. No, you got to do this. No, you got to do that. And all throughout my life, I was constantly being forced to put on this mask that, hey, I'm an extrovert. I'm an extrovert. I can do all this. And I'm not, I mean, I'm not against extroverts. I have a lot of friends who are extroverts, but it's not my wiring. It's not my personality. But I wanted so badly to be an extrovert. I wanted so badly to be the life of the party and all these other things. And it started to take a toll on me. It just took such a toll on me because it wasn't who I really was. And it wasn't until, I say, the last couple of years, I mean, I'm in my 50s now, that I'm embracing my inner introvert. Like, it's okay. It's okay that I don't want to be the life of the party. It's okay that if I need time to recharge and if I have to cancel a commitment, or I just have to take a nap, whatever it is. Like, so I had to remove that mask of being, of being an extrovert, being more than I'm really, like, my wiring. I was really misfiring, trying to be somebody that I wasn't, instead of, like, it's okay that I'm an introvert. And it sounds funny because I'm doing podcasts and I'm doing all these things where I am talking, but I'm doing it behind a video recorder. I mean, yeah, I can perfectly talk, but I don't know who's watching. I don't know who's listening. So it's like the perfect medium for me to be able to be a balance of both. It's like I can talk. I can definitely be more animated, but I'm also not compromising who I am as an introvert. So that is one of the masks that I was able to remove. And so those of you who are out there too, who are introverts or even extroverts who are feeling like they have to be introverted, like, we don't have to go against our own wiring. If you've ever tried to wire something with the wrong wiring, I mean, I remember one time somebody in my life years ago and I were trying to install a car radio, and we obviously should have gotten a professional to do it, because we put the wrong wires in, and man, there was smoke everywhere and sparking. I mean, it's amazing we didn't, like, put the car on fire, but that's because we were mismatching the wrong wires. So that's what happens when we try to be somebody that we're not. I mean, we're mismatching the wiring, and we wonder, like, why we have these reactions, and why, like, we don't understand, like, why are so many things a struggle? Well, because we're putting these masks on. We're trying to be somebody that we're not. And I'm not against going out of the comfort zone, but I choose to use a saying that I actually learned from someone who I edited a book for years ago. And this person stated that he said, why do we feel like we have to go out of a comfort zone? Why can't we stay in our brilliant zone? And I was like, wow, that is truly amazing. That is a wonderful way to look at it. Why can't we just stay within our brilliant zones? I mean, we can still grow. We still can grow. And it's like, we don't have to be anything other than who we are, and we can expand from that. But if we're constantly, like, putting these wigs on, and we're constantly doing, all kinds of crazy things. And I mean, if you see this wig, after a while, it starts to, like, go down in my eyes. And I'm sure many of you have seen that I'm constantly having to push it out of my eyes. And that's, like, it's very symbolic of what happens when we're constantly being things that we're not. It starts to almost, like, crowd us, and it gets in our vision, and it starts to make us feel like, oh, we're getting suffocated and everything. So, I mean, a wig like this is fine for a couple hours, but can you imagine wearing something like this all the time? and constantly having to like change it and shove it away and everything. And I mean, after a while, it's like, oh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And that's what it's like when we're constantly being somebody that we really aren't. It's exhausting. It's okay to be who we are and to grow from that. Like, I know that I'm a creative and I am growing from that. I don't aspire to be different than who I am. I am a creative and I'm expanding on that. I mean, sure, I have different interests, but I don't want to like completely go out of my brilliant zone, which is my creativity with my writing and all kinds of different things. I mean, I love what I do. And I'd be doing a disservice to people in my life and myself if I was anybody else other than who I was born to be. And that's like a message that I want to really get out there. Think about some other masks that we put on. What about professional choices? I mean, are we pressured to put on the mask of, oh, I have to go to college, or I have to pursue this job, or I have to do whatever it is? And again, I mean, I am not like saying that anything is right or wrong, but it's what feels aligned. I have a respect for all kinds of professions and education and everything. I mean, I've gone to college and I'm glad that I did. However, I know that it's not the right thing for everyone. I mean, for me at this stage of my life, being an entrepreneur is the right thing for me because of health challenges and because of personal challenges with some people in my life. And it works for me. I love being an entrepreneur. And it's really like I was struggling so many years, again, putting a mask on that I wanted to do more of a traditional kind of setting. And I realized that no, as a creative, I need to be able to be behind the scenes and create. I need to be in alignment with who I am and who I really want to be. So those masks out there, like what kind of masks are you wearing? Do you feel you have to do a particular thing? Are you being conditioned by somebody? Is it that you're afraid maybe you may not be able to do it? I will tell you right now that out of my own experience, that it is okay to pursue what's on your heart because that's what I did. I mean, I remember when I told people that I was going to write a book, that I was going to be a published author. And a lot of people said to me like, "Oh, it's a saturated market. There's so many writers out there and it's very hard to get published." Well, let's see. I'm now a 4-time best-selling author with many more books to come. One of them is a solo book. 3 of them are compilations. Like, yeah, it was really like difficult. And I'm not trying to say that sarcastically, but it's just that sometimes people in our lives can be a dream killer. And I've learned at times it's better sometimes if we have a deep desire to do something, to just maybe either keep it to ourselves or to maybe just tell like one trusted person. But as soon as we start putting it out there, it's very easy to start inviting the doubters to come in. And so I've learned that when there's something that I really want to do, I just keep it between myself and God, or maybe like 1 or 2 trusted people. Because it's amazing how doubt can be the biggest dream killer out there. And I wonder how many people out there really could have done so much more with their lives, but because of the mask they were trying to put on, instead of taking it off and being like, hey, I really want to pursue this. I mean, how much different their lives could have become. So, there are just so many ways, I mean, again, and even like with traditions, I mean, I don't have kids and I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with that. And I've made a wonderful life without having kids. And again, if that's something that people want to, that's fine. My role in this is to, again, be, as it's called, mindful wanderer journeys within. We all have a different journey. But my encouragement here, my empowerment is to embrace walks of life out there. Like everybody has a right to decide. Like, who do you want to be? And when we are in alignment with the universe and God and our spirituality and our energetics and everything, it's not just, it doesn't always, I mean, it's not always about us, but it's about everybody around us too. We're our healthiest selves when we're our true selves. That old saying, to thine own self be true. And I go by that. So my hope is that for everybody to think about, like, yes, it's fine to dress up for a costume party, for Halloween and everything. And I mean, it's okay. It's fun. But there comes a time when we have to take the mask off. And we're our true selves. It's okay. It's okay. We're meant to be ourselves. We're meant to live mask free. Like, hey, this is me. This is me, all natural, okay? And you know what? That's okay. This is who I was born to be. And for those of you who are listening, it's okay to be who you are. Make intentional decisions about your life, based on what feels right for you. Because what's right for you is it's just going to spread so much love and positive energy around, instead of putting on these masks and feeling suffocated and feeling like, oh, I don't know how to deal with this. I mean, I just took this mask off and I'm like, oh, wow, I feel cool. I'm free. I mean, it's just amazing how many times we put those masks on and we can just take them off and feel that freedom. So that is my message for this week and my empowerment to think about, when you're going through life, when you're making decisions, important decisions especially, are you being intentional about them? Are you putting a mask on, or are you living mask free? So enjoy dressing up for the holiday if that's what you choose to do. But remember, the important life masks, they have to come off so you can be your true, shining, beautiful, handsome selves. All right, thank you so much, and I'll be seeing you next month.